Okay.
Summertime has come to the Northern Hemisphere, and back when I lived in England, this came with barbecues,
Wait,
donkey rides at the beach, and 99 flakes.
Okay, my friends, I know we are at the beginning of the video, but I have to ask this right away. If you know this game on the screen, leave me a like right now. And the reason I'm asking this is because some people have been sending me emails about this game, but I don't know if this is a popular game in America or not. Do you guys recognize this? By the way, tell me the name, because I don't even know the name. 5 summer traditions I only encountered after moving to America. My friends, I really wonder what those things are. That said, it's kind of hot here in Portugal, and I don't have air condition yet. I'm going crazy. That said, before I go into this, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. Is the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play. Okay.
Summertime has come to the Northern Hemisphere, and back when I lived in England, this came with barbecues, donkey rides at the beach, and 99 flakes.
Okay, my friends, I know we are at the beginning of the video, but I have to ask this right away. If you know this game on the screen, leave me a like right now. And the reason I'm asking this is because some people have been sending me emails about this game, but I don't know if this is a popular game in America or not. Do you guys recognize this? By the way, tell me the name, because I don't even know the name.
But after moving to the United States, I discovered countless summertime traditions I never knew existed. So
Like
join me
what?
on this sizzling day in June to find out what
love
I'm
the
going on
gladness.
about. But first, a thunderstorm, because this is the Midwest.
No, he's joking. A thunderstorm in the summer, in July.
Yesterday's downpour got me thinking about another liquid-based phenomenon that Americans experience at this time of year: swimming pools.
I'm gonna be honest, my friends. Swimming pools are actually a thing in Europe. Shocking, right? But if you have one, let's speak American. Let's forget English. My friends, if you have one, you are rich in my book. Sorry, but you are rich.
This is particularly true in the sense of pool parties. And these are like regular parties, just with lots of scantily clad people. So a lot like regular parties. That was a joke, Mum. But pool parties aren't really a thing in England, and you might be thinking, ooh, Lawrence, why's that? Is it because you don't have swimming pools in the UK? Of course we do. Do you think my childhood badges just earned themselves? No, it's just that outdoor residential swimming pools are a bit harder to come by. After all, most of us just don't have the yard space, or the weather, or the money. But on that last
My friends, you guys think I'm joking, but of course this is a bit of a stereotype, but there is some truth to this stereotype. If you have a pool here in Europe, at least in my country, of course, you are kinda well in life, you know, you did something right.
point, I've learned that Americans have a cheat code. You see, when I saw these things in movies, I used to think that pool parties were reserved for rich people. But here's something that you might not know about me. Back when I was making just above the US minimum wage, I lived at not one, but 2 different apartment complexes that threw pool parties. Unfortunately, this was from a time before...
Wait, is that common actually? Okay, this is a stupid question, I guess. There is no stupid questions, right, my friends? Anyone watching owns a pool? If so, leave me a comment and tell me from what state you are watching me, because there is no way you have a pool in Vermont. It's so damn cold, you don't need that. But if you live in Texas, maybe.
I documented every second of my life, so there's no actual footage of me in my swimming trunks. However, ChatGPT incorrectly thinks that I probably look like this, and that I somehow invited Uncle Toby, my wife's cousin Chad, Chainsaw Jim, and Suburban Sue. All I remember is this obnoxious drunk who thought it would be funny to do a cannonball right in front of me. His parents grounded him soon after that. Here's something that I often witness in America, but not so much in Britain. Block parties. It's not
Wait, it's basically the neighborhood having a party? My friends, that's the type of stuff I see in movies, but I thought it was a lie.
common during a walk with the puppies. What doing, Heidi? That I turned toward a street only to be blocked off by the words "road closed." Such restrictions span 1 block and contain a bouncy castle, several humans, and 5 screaming kids. But
love
to the
dogs.
extent that block parties do exist in Britain, Brits are more likely to call them street parties because block in this sense still hasn't caught on in Britain. Furthermore,
You know what? This is not that common here, my friends.
British street parties are usually reserved for major royal landmarks or the end of your average world war. In America, they're reserved for Saturdays. And this country is home to all kinds of block parties, like the hip-hop variety that emerged in the 70s to a basic community cookout. In fact, one year, my wife and I accidentally gate-crashed an Ed Sheeran tribute act. Don't look at me like that. He was blocking access to Kroger, which really makes you rethink the meaning of block party. In a few short days, the United States celebrates its 249th birthday, and I used to think that for its age it looked quite good, until I realised that this is probably due to all of the Botox. Either way, one thing...
Sorry, my friends, I know it's a bit unrelated to the video, but this will be the first year I will celebrate 4th of July. I'm not sure if I will do a video about that. The reason is honestly quite simple. I have some construction being done at my home right now. So for me to record will be a bit more difficult, okay? But if I can, I will do it.
Thing that you can count on at this time of year is our 4th of July parades.
Let me say this. Either way, I'm going to celebrate 4th of July. May not with you, my friends, but in spirit.
They're a bit like block parties, except in this instance, fire trucks are just there for aesthetic purposes. Basically, people flank the street.
Wait, there is a parade for 4th of July? Or multiple... No, there is a big parade in America or multiple parades everywhere, sorry.
While large vehicles rev their engines, reminding everyone of America's freedoms and traffic pollution. I've been to several of these now, but history has not been kind to the version of me that flexed a Union Jack in the early days. Even my American family members sought revenge many years later. But parades marking America's independence from the British are surprisingly not very common in Britain. Actually, this is sort of true of parades in general, unless the king decides to open a hospital or 11 people win a trophy. So, what have we learned from the first half of this video? That America...
11 people winning a trophy means the soccer team, but he's a bit incorrect because it's more likely 20 or 23 people since he's the entire squad, but okay, Lawrence.
will throw a party for just about anything. And where there are parties, there are party games. And one of those is a game that I'd never heard of called cornhole. What's
Wait, cornhole? Yeah, this is a Midwest thing. I knew it.
And one of those is a game that I'd never heard of called cornhole. What?
So there is no way this is popular across America. This is popular in the Midwest. Corn, Midwest, you know.
It's cornhole, Lawrence. Well, it's a game where you have a board like this with a hole in it and another one that your opponent uses, and you set them 27 feet apart for some reason, and you both stand next to one of the boards and try to throw bean bags into the hole of the other board, and you get points and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to stand next to my opponent's board, which is broken, and
You know what? This seems fun.
I'm going to throw all of my bags into that hole.
It's kind of like golf with ends.
And that is not a euphemism. And I've
Well, golf is also with ends, but you guys know what... You guys understood my point.
just remembered you have to throw it underarm, which I'm not very good at. And I don't have an actual opponent because my wife's not here and the dog's just...
My friends, if this goes in, I'm gonna do a giveaway of my Portuguese butter that I have in the fridge.
want to eat these. She do it. Look at that.
Okay. The first one to follow me. No, okay. Actually, I have to gain something of this because losing the Portuguese butter is too painful. But friends, you guys are seeing the links below. If you guys follow me on Twitter or X, and the name is a bit of a mess, let's be real. On Twitch, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you send me a message in one of those... I may send you a Portuguese butter, but I can only send one. So I have to choose from 2 people that will send me a message.
That was beautiful. Thanks, Heidi. I got 3 points. You're supposed to get 7, so I got to do more.
Wait, I actually thought he's going... How the hell did he end up eating that?
Heidi, I got 3 points. You're supposed to get 7, so I got to do more.
now fails.
The only question is, do you like cornhole or are you just from the Midwest? No, seriously, I asked you online a couple of days ago, do you like cornhole? And thousands of you answered. The options were absolutely, yes for some reason, no, and
I'm gonna guess number 2. Yes, for some reason.
the onomatopoeic word for snoring. Today, I can reveal what Americans actually feel about cornholes.
Do it,
The results are as follows. The least popular response, with 17% of the vote, is no, which would be an encouraging sign for the sport were it not for the fact that the second least popular option was absolutely. In second place, with almost a quarter of the vote, was which means that our winner, with 39% of the vote, is yes for some reason.
Yep.
So just to clarify, the majority of Americans either find it painfully dull or can't articulate why they like it. So riddle me this, America. If so few of you are cornhole fanatics, how is it that the game is not just a holiday pastime, but a bona fide televised sport? This is something I discovered a few years ago while I was
That thing is a sport.
channel hopping. As I
And you guys don't like soccer, but you guys like this.
wrote at the time, they keep cutting to one of the players' wives. Her name is Shelby. Shelby is crying tears of joy after her husband, himself a picture of elation, just cornholed slightly harder than his opponent. Anyway, apparently nature really doesn't want me to play cornhole because we're having to abandon this shoot once again for thunder. Cut. If I could go back to any time in history, I'd go back to earlier in the video when I said this. You see, when I saw these things in movies, because the word summer and movies make me think of three things. American summer blockbusters, American drive-in movie theaters, and that time...
Okay, a bit of a silly question again. The drive movie thing is still a thing. Because I saw that even on Simpsons and stuff like that. And you know that, I guess you guys know this, sometimes Hollywood portrays Americans a bit different than they really are. Is that actually a thing? I mean, I know it was a thing back in the day. I'm not sure if that's a thing now.
4 years ago when my wife and I combined the two.
Hey, are you
And by the way, you pay for that or is free?
excited?
Yeah, I am, despite my face, because I'm about to get a really authentic 1975 experience. Not only are we at the drive-in theatre, but we're going to watch Jaws, admittedly from a Prius. On the one hand, this once popular American pastime was something you could only do once it got dark. You see, for the projection to work in any meaningful way, it has to be nighttime, otherwise you can't see what the heck is on the screen. This is particularly true when you're watching me, watching people, watching me on a poorly lit screen.
Yo, my friends, look, I'm not going to say this lightly. I would love to do this in America. The states I'm visiting is New York. I think there will be very difficult to do this, let's be real. Texas and maybe Oklahoma and Florida. We still have to figure out that. Do you guys think, for example, in Texas, I can find this? If someone knows, be honest with me. No, because this is something I always saw as a kid. Doing this would be crazy.
But on the other, this is one of those American summertime traditions that needs to make a comeback. Because there's something quite...
See, he's saying make a comeback, so I'm not sure, you know what I mean? I'm not sure, I'm not understanding his point very well. Maybe still a thing, but it's very difficult to find.
Beautiful about taking in a Midwestern sunset while watching Mrs. Kittner's baby boy being torn to shreds by a fish. As somebody who grew up in England, where drive-in movie theatres never really caught on, the whole thing was really novel and unmistakably American. I am unreasonably excited by the fact that they have little speakers outside of the car and you hook them on to the window frame. The experience was so enjoyable, I danced for the first time since 1987. In all, I actually really enjoyed the entire experience. She made me do this. And if I could bring back drive-in theatres en masse using my YouTube sensation powers, I would do it in a heartbeat. And one thing that I'm going to make you do is watch 7 American things that shocked me as a Brit. Until the next video.
Okay, my friend, show him all the support. This was awesome. I mean, the last thing, the drive-through movie, wow, that's crazy to me. Well, friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.